if Man United want to buy him for 80 million quid, they know that there's going to be pressures put on the legal construct of a contract and how far their reach can go. So it'd be interesting to see if the FA, because I think they'd want to say a transfer is a football-related activity. So on that basis, he doesn't get the benefit of a move somewhere else, even though the primary function of banning him was to stop him from playing.
Right.
That's the primary function of it.
Right.
But then you're going to get into territory of people questioning that thing will turn on football-related activity. And also an interesting point to make is we don't quite know what they were handing down. If they were going to hand down a 5-month ban, right? Let's just say that was on their menu of things to do, and they suddenly looked at the timing of it and went, hang on a second, if we hand him down a 5-month ban, he's going to be out during the pre-season. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give him an 8-month ban to price in the pre-season. Because that might come out in the situation. And then people might change their attitude. They might say, well, hang on a second. Actually, there you go. That's why they've done this and that's why they've done that.
Yeah. If you're Brentford, would you be wanting to get him off your books?
No.
In the next window, would you be wanting to sell him on for the best price you can possibly get?
No, I wouldn't. But I would be realistic.
It's not available till January.
Well, fine. And you have to accept that if he was injured, he wouldn't be available to January. In this instance, he's injured himself, and you as a consequence, right?
Yeah, but he's not injured.
No, he's not injured. He's by definition he's unavailable. And if you wanted to price it into your thinking that he was injured, then you could do that and suggest that we could have lost him in the first game of the season to injury.
But I want to push you on that. If you're Matthew Benham this summer, what's your approach? If you're Matthew Benham, right, what do you do?
Well, I'd have had a long time to pontificate on it, wouldn't I? I would have known this was coming. I knew he was going to get banned, so I've had a lot of time to adjust to it. I've had a lot of time to not act in haste and repent at leisure. I've had a lot of time to work it through my system.
Right.
And I would sit there. Well, I would want a quid pro quo. I would want a situation where if I'm going to continue, it depends upon the legality of how you can get around if you want to. If you want to get around 60, 70 grand a week or whatever this kid's on at Brentford, right, and create yourself a problem in 6 months' time where the outcome is going to be predetermined, which is we know, whether you agree with this or not, and I'm the first person to turn around and say, no. People have to do what they should be doing. So there'd be a really good case to say to Ivan, you take your medicine, I got to take mine, so you ain't getting paid, and we'll see you back in January or at the training ground in September when you're allowed to train again, and you'll take it because you brought it upon yourself. Now, that will undeniably and irrefutably, unless he's a really, really special kind of footballer, create an element of a little bit of resentment in Ivan Toney, which will create the division that someone will join in the vacuum of and be able to get him out, because he's going to go to a bigger club. Because he's a brilliant player that can play in any of the top 6 sides, with the exception of Man City. Yes,
does it hinder any buying clubs thinking?
Well, it doesn't. First of all, does it hinder the value of Ivan Toney? Is it a usable event to be able to bring the price down?
Reputationally, does it hinder your thinking?
Oh, come on, look at the reputation of so many players that have been transferred across football clubs that people don't take much notice of, right? The bottom line is that he is a top quality performer that could play, with the exception of probably Man City, in 4 or 5 of the best sides in the Premier League and can play in most of the European sides as well. So someone is going to say to Brentford, sooner rather than later, bang, we'll have him. Now, the argument would then be leveraged into, well, he's not been playing for a year. You lose 6 months, or best part of 6 months of a player's footballing career. They never get that back. They deteriorate. Everyone else moves on.
So you knock a few million off your bid?
Well, you try to, don't you? And you try to, but then if you're Matthew Benham, you say to, if I'm Matthew Benham, I'd be using this as something that was even more beneficial to Brentford. I'd be sitting down with Ivan and saying, right, here we are, fella, you and I, we've gone on a journey together. You have been a massive part of this journey, and now we've got a crossroads, and I'm going to come forward and I'm going to look after you. But in return, you're going to look after me. Because you're not going to have 18 months left in your contract when you come back and all of a sudden I'm behind the 8 ball when you decide that you want to leave and all the benefits of the outcomes are for you. I'm going to say, Ivan, I'm going to pay you your 70 grand a week, even though you can't do anything for me. But in exchange for that, I want a new contract signed.